Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not out of the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, looking at the put-to-call ratio right now, it's really nowhere. It's right in the middle. It's at 0.52. Let me refresh to make sure. Yeah, 0.52. So it's not leaning towards one side. Now, looking at the economic calendar for the week, now we have Friday off for the 4th. So, short week. Tomorrow, the 30th, which is the last day of the second quarter. Last day of June, so we could see some action tomorrow, volatility towards the end of the day. But as far as the economic calendar, I don't see anything. Get some Fed speakers, really nothing exciting. Then on Tuesday the 1st, we got Powell speaking at 9:30, and we got Jolts at 10 o'clock. Wednesday, really nothing. Thursday we get some unemployment rate, services PMI, a little bit of some data on Thursday. Friday, nothing because it's 4th of July. So really nothing too much except for Powell and Thursday as far as the economic calendar. But you should always check that every single day just in case something pops up. Now, with that said, being the 4th of July weekend, that we're going to probably see some shenanigans this week. I think that any red day, or I shouldn't even say, I don't even think we'll even have any red days this week. But if we end up having a red day, probably Monday and Tuesday with a quick V rally and going strong green days on the 4th, because God forbid if the market's red before the 4th of July weekend, that would be very anti-patriotic, anti-American, to have a red market the day before 4th of July going into a long weekend. So keep an eye on that. Always remember that. Now we have a bearish divergence going on the daily. You can see prices going up, histogram is going down, but I would not count on anything extravagant or extreme to happen this week. It will happen after the 4th, in my opinion. So I still think if we have a deep red day, it's gonna V rally that day, or we're gonna end up having a strong green day the next following day. So that's what I think. So the all-time high is 616.39. I don't look at pre-market on the daily chart, so I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we're at 625 plus. At this rate, the way SPY is going, we could be 650 by the end of the week if we don't pull back. I mean, this gap and grind. I mean, we're gapping and grinding. Gap up 608 and grind to 612. $3 to $5 grind. I mean, we keep holding that, we'll probably be at 650 by the end of the week. So without any red days or pullback or chop. So that's my thing, is we could possibly see 625 to 650. Red days will get quickly bought. Even if we do manage to drop, I mean, we got 612, 610. We get a gap to fill right here at 607. We got gaps down here at 603. Get a gap down here to from 603 to 600. Maybe we come back. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe we have a deep couple red days to fill that gap at 600 and V rally and recover. I don't know. That seems pretty extreme, but SPY can do some pretty crazy things on when it wants to. So what's going to happen this week is anybody's guess. I think the dips will get bought. We'll end up probably keep having chugging, making new highs all week long. So keep the narrative going, making Trump look good, Powell looking like an idiot. But right now VIX is right down to 632. I mean, VIX has got room to 15. I mean, the VIX can drop all the way to 12. It's dropped down to under 13 right here. So yeah, I think that we could definitely see VIX down to under 15, possibly even under 12. And if the SPY does manage to gap and grind, we could definitely see 650. Now, another thing to point out is back years ago, several months ago, when SPY likes making these new gap and grinds, making all-time highs, VIX likes to have these overnight shenanigans. Well, SPY will gap up and VIX will gap up. If you start seeing VIX gap up with SPY, they're gapping VIX up to make SPY run more. Usually that's what's been happening in the past. So definitely keep an eye on where VIX is at open, and small little pullbacks will make VIX pop. And in the past, every time VIX pops, it just gives SPY more room to grind and go higher. So basically, if SPY ends up dropping $1 or $2, VIX could pop to 17, 18, and then just slowly get smashed, and SPY make new all-time highs. We've seen these shenanigans in the past. I think we'll probably see them this week. So keep an eye on VIX. I think we'll see some gap up with VIX with SPY and see those kind of shenanigans. So definitely keep an eye on that. Meta, it's not much I'm looking at because I don't really like anything this week. I mean, Meta is near all-time high again because it's at 733 and all-time high at 740. Meta does break out. You can see 750 pretty easily, but bearish divergence going on the daily. RSI on the hourly is 77. Meta is pretty crazy. It does need to pull back, but it might not pull back this week. So definitely keep an eye on that. Now Tesla is one I'm keeping an eye on. I know they have data coming out this week, deliveries or something on the 2nd. So I've been really keeping an eye on this area right here. This is just Tesla has just been a massive chop zone, one of the most volatile stocks on the market, and it's doing nothing. So I'd be watching it underneath 320, 315, 310, 300. You could see 290, 280 again, depending on what happens with the news. Right now, it suggests that Tesla's waiting for the delivery news, but it usually has some data leak or some hopium, or it will start running just off from the hope the numbers are good, or dump thinking the numbers are bad, but we are getting nothing. Tesla's not showing anything, so Tesla may chop until the 2nd. So, but definitely keep an eye on that. If Tesla does pop, gets over 330, 350, 360, 380, 400, maybe pretty fast if the delivery's good. But from what I'm seeing, a lot of people are thinking it's going to be probably pretty bad, which means it's probably going to end up popping because everybody's usually wrong. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm not going to predict anything. I don't try to predict the future because every time you do, it's wrong. So I don't even bother. Now, Microsoft, the RSI on the daily is above 80. RSI, look at this. It's been in the 70s since it gapped up from May 1st, and it just keeps grinding up. And this is just ridiculous. So the RSI on the weekly is above 70. So Microsoft, really, really crazy. Maybe it taps 500 before it dumps, but very rarely does it hit an exact number and dump. The market, I should say market, usually SPY, does like to overshoot and undershoot. We could see the same thing here where Microsoft overshoots to 501, 502, then dumps, or maybe it's undershot it and the 499.30 is the top. I don't know, but it's got a massive gap down here to fill at 400. We had a massive run up that's just ridiculous. So I would not be looking at calls on Microsoft whatsoever. If anything, I'd be looking at puts underneath 495, 490, 485. They need to let some air out. This is ridiculous. The hopium is just crazy on Microsoft. I would not take that long whatsoever. Not with RSI is this high, even though RSI stayed high since May for almost 2 months. So at some point it's gonna let some air out, and it's probably gonna be pretty nasty. So BA, I was looking at this. I was kind of surprised it had such a strong run on Friday, and on the weekly, if it does manage to get over 220, maybe it takes off to 230, 240, but I just don't like BA. It filled the gap right here. So maybe this is the turning point. It filled the gap. Maybe it gets underneath 211. Maybe we get back down to 205 and 200 and get back into reality. 200, 195. Get back into this area down here where it's been chugging along, but from 175 to 195. So maybe we could pull back into that 195 area. But, Boeing, I don't have really high expectations. And every time it starts to get a run, it gets hammered on. So, starts getting momentum dumps. And a lot more momentum here. It could be because of the Iran and Israel conflict, going on in the Middle East, tensions over there. But, I think that it's going to end up coming down. So, it does have a gap up here to fill, 235 to 245, but I don't know. I'm just not. BA puts a sour taste in my mouth. I don't think it's really going to go anywhere, but I could be wrong. So that's all I have. Short week, like I said, and I don't think much is going to happen. We're just going to see the same gap and grind from SPY. Maybe we gap down. If we gap down from SPY, we're going to end up probably popping it open. So I think we're going to see a lot of shenanigans this week, so get ready for that. That's it for the watch list. Thanks for watching.